Hey guys, welcome to the Gods Unchained beta with the Professor. Alright, it's time for our Monday Mythic meta for the ranked weekend event that ran on January 28th, 29th, and 30th. Let's take a look at our results. Here's a list of our top players. We can see that top 10 is made entirely out of 24 win players. Congratulations. Very good runs, everybody. The rest of the top 20 has 23 wins, so a very competitive weekend again. Let's go into more details. In our top 10, Death took first place, Nature was able to take second, third, and fourth. War took fifth, sixth, seventh, and 10th, and Magic took eighth and ninth. We can see an even split between 5 control players and 10 aggro players in the top 10. In our top 20, we can see that 6 players played Nature, 5 players played War, 4 players each played Death and Magic, 1 player played Light, and there were no Deception players in the top 20. For our wins, we can see that the best War, Nature, Magic, and Death players managed 24 wins. The best Light deck managed 23 wins. And the best Deception deck I found had 19 wins. For our deck types, we had 11 players in our top 20 play an aggro deck, 8 players played control, and 1 player played a mid-range deck. Let's take a look at our top decks in more detail. Before we go into our top decks in more details, I just wanted to give a quick mention. I briefly go over each deck, but if you're looking for more detailed explanation on the top decks, please feel free to check out Team Stream Team's YouTube page. They have a weekly series there that tells you what to play over the weekend, and in the videos, the Mudman from TST goes through each top deck in more details than I do. So make sure to take a look at their content if you want to know more about the top decks. Our best Death deck managed 24 wins. This one's the controlled board wipe Death deck with the Blood Ritual God Power. We have our usual removals and stalls, Blight Bomb, Siren of the Grave, Sulfuric Rain. You have your removal cards with Nephru, Reap, Apocalypse Now, End Times. You have your endgame combos with Nephrius Khopesh, Hippocrates Monster, Demogorgon, and Polyhymnia. Let's take a look at another Death deck in our top 20. This one looks to be an aggro Death deck with the Blood Ritual God Power. You can see a low curve here with 10 cards with 1 mana cost and 8 cards and 2 mana cost. Over half the deck at the 1 and 2 mana slot. This deck plays the Zombie Synergy with Cursed Obelisk and Necroceptor. You have cards to help you get a wide board like Expectant Chicken, Wicked Fae, Afterlife cards with Nether's Advocate, Voracious Fiend, Demonic Offering. You have board control cards like Void Flash, Amazon Heart Eater, Neferu, Carthaginian Marine. Our top nature deck managed 24 wins. This one's an aggro nature deck with the Animal Bond God Power. You have your strong nature cards with Chiron, Marshwalker, Canopy Barrage, Fey-Fame Blade, Underbrush Boar, Celestial Stag. You have 1 4-mana card with Selena. You have your 5 mana staples with the Brazen Moose, Falling Star, and then you have Giant Pangolin and the Hunt at the 6 mana slot. This version has 1 copy of the Jaguar Staff in place of Finian Fruitbearer. Another nature deck that I wanted to go over, which managed 23 wins. This one's the mid-range nature deck with Selene Smart God Power. You can see it shares the same similar low curve as the other aggro list. At the 3 mana slot, that's when things start to change. You have Rapid Bear, Selena's Bow, Blade Flies, Starving Sabertooth, and Veilwarden Minotaur. You also have the 2 copies of Falling Star, Giant Pangolin, and the Hunt. And this deck tops out at 7 mana with Photogenesis. Photogenesis is a Genesis card that's a spell that adds 4 random nature cards to your hand. While it costs 7 mana to play, it then refreshes 6 mana, allowing you to take further actions after playing this card. Our best war deck managed 24 wins. This was a control war deck with the Valka's Presence God Power. This deck specializes in controlling your opponent's board while getting yourself in position to take advantage of the later game. You have strong early cards like Master Tactician, Tavern Brawler, Adi, Magic Missile Launcher, Viking Longship, Carnage Sweep, Orcish Elite, Herdicus, Soul Survivor, Hector, and Demogorgon. Also worth noting is that Devoted wrote a guide for this deck. I'll add the link to this deck code in GU Decks. As you can see, Devoted went through and explained each card in the list in greater detail. Our top Magic deck managed 24 wins. This one's the Aggro Burn Magic deck with the Mage Bolt God Power. This version is the all Magic card version. It has the low curve with the cheap removal and creatures with Ancient Text, Assistant Alchemist, Form of Power, Shadow Scryer, Street Conjurer, Star Shard Bolt, Tracking Bolt. You have your strong magic cards like Demetrios, Vortimer the Volatile, All-Seeing Spire, Miraculous Familiar, Scepter of Artistry, and the Monolith of Storms. And then you have your burn spells with Burn Breath and Epiphany. Our best light deck managed 23 wins. This one's a light aggro deck with the Summon Acolyte God Power. You have your low curve, starting with the Blind Martyr, Empyrean Pacifist, and the Ritual Rod. Follow that up with Devoted Follower, Olympian Guard, and the Bright Mage. And then you have powerful spell cards like Light's Levy, Radiant Dawn, and Canonize. And you have the two key legendaries in this deck, Cern the Moderator and Asterius the Glittering One. Best Deception deck I found managed 19 wins. This one's an aggro Deception deck with Orpheus Distraction. You have your aggressive start with Dark Knives, Orfeo, Patient Pickpocket, and Switch Duelist. That's followed by strong cards like Armor Lurker, Hunting Trap, The Hollow, Ludius Dedicate, and Shadewalker. You have other notable Deception cards like Lady Marcella, Hierophant Salinas, Lantern Bound Fae, and you have a top end of the Guild Enforcer and Rapture Dance. Taking a look at our meta snapshot for the weekend at the Mythic level, we can see that Death had the highest win rate at 51% and a decent 12% representation. Light shoots up this weekend to a 50% win rate, with still the lowest representation at 8%. Light has a positive win rate over Death, Nature, and Magic. Nature remains the most represented at 31% and a 50% win rate. Deception's win rate also increased to 49.8% and a decent play rate of 12%. Deception is strong versus Light and Magic. You have War going down in terms of representation, down to 20%, and also the win rate going under 50%. And the lowest win rate goes to Magic at 49% with a 14% representation. Updating our top 10 scoreboard with last week's result, the biggest news is H. Payne jumping to the first place spot, moving up 6 places. And we have Fate jumping up 17 places with his first place finish from last week. Here's a list of our top players again. Congratulations on a great performance. Good luck on your prizes when you receive them later this week.